Hello, hello, ladies, and welcome to Tuning In, where Susanne, Joy, and Deborah, LeeAnn, me, typically host a conversation about what's going on in the collective energy. And we've been focusing the last 5 months or so on the five School of Light collective pillars. And these five light beings are, Susanne, help me out here, truth teller, wisdom
With
keeper, ecstatic leader, divine one, and cosmic guardian. Yeah. Okay. And so we are in our fifth week of talking about, oh, this is fun, the fifth week of the fifth pillar of the cosmic guardian. And we have invited our amazing creatrix, metamorphics queen, um, Patricia Wald Hopkins, to be with us today as we do the integration of this cosmic guardian's energetic imprint, so that we download and start embodying it to be these so needed healing light essences here on Gaia. So welcome, welcome everyone. And how do you want to start today? Should we start with a grounding or breathing or any exercise you'd like to begin with?
grounding is always best.
Okay, who wants to lead? Hmm. Are you looking at me? I can't tell because everybody's just looking at the camera. Okay, so I just suggested that we all ground because we just had some little technological snafus. So let's get present, shall we? And as we drop in, allow ourselves to really feel our physicality. As light beings and way showers, we tend to be operating in higher realms a lot, and we're actually anchoring that essence down and through our bodies, um, into Earth, into Gaia. And I would request that while you slow down your breathing and actually see if you can lower your breathing down into your belly, that you flex your spine. And as we curve it, like we're doing little mini cat cows, right? And this allows our whole electrical energetic system to get online and really feel your perineum and your sits bones in your chair and allow that anchoring to feel the spinal fluids going all the way down so that this is where we connect down into the mother who is holding us with her gravity. Talk about being supported. Sometimes we feel like we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, and look, she's carrying us. So that's my part. Who wants to add to that as we ground into our essence and energy?
I feel as though as we ground into their energy, go ahead and put your hands on your heart,
Mm.
and remember that's where we're coming from. We're anchored in that heart space, moving from that knowingness, that beingness that's ever present with.
Mm.
And I would just add and invite you all to imagine that you have just created a lot of space for your channel, your light channel of light that runs up and down the front of your spine to fully connect to the cosmos and the heavens above and to the earth below. So you
Mm.
have a beautiful channel of light.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. And I felt it across my arms too. That was beautiful.
Mm.
So Susanne, would you help us revisit as we went through the Cosmic Guardians gene key activation sequence? What are those gifts again?
So the life's works gift is synergy. The her evolution is artfulness.
Mm,
Mm, lots of creativity. Um, she's anchored in her radiance as graciousness, and the her purpose, her place of being is transmutation. And it so coincides with this week's pulse, which is equality. And the acidic state is tenderness. So you can feel this very gentle energy, where transmutation can take place, but it's not scary. It's just very gracious and gentle.
Mhm.
So doesn't have to be heavy or hard.
feminine is what comes to mind. That watery, flowing, like my light being that's in the camera with me. Hello.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Patricia, you probably know this light being, mm, I would say, more intimately than we do, even though we've been discussing her a lot and feeling her a lot. What would you add about this wisdom and why she's coming so close right now or into us right now?
I'd be happy to tune in. Um, just feel her, right, coming around us. So it's really this Aquarian age, right? So we're talking about synergy and systems, new money systems, new prosperity consciousness. And so she's really here to teach us about that, about how to weave the way that we give and receive from an overflowing cup. And she shows us how to artfully do that. So it's not so much about being alone anymore. It's about being together. And it's okay to stand up on a stage and offer somebody something that you know is going to help them. And there's no shame in your passion for what you do. So each one of us here and the listeners and, all over, we all have beautiful gifts. And she's here to show us how to share them in community. And when that begins to happen, and I'm getting chills coming up my legs finally, that graciousness just flows through, right? It's just, you just feel that overflowing cup.
Mm.
And it's that grace that comes down through our channels into the earth and brings that transmutation of the old grids.
Couldn't be more
That's,
timely. I mean, the timeliness of this is just so exquisite. It just makes me cry. Um,
yeah. Well, let me add that I really believe that you and Susanne have been following the rhythm, right? And the way, that this all unfolded, like it didn't come from your mental body, it came from your heart.
yeah.
And so, yeah, you're aligned. You brought in who needed to come in because you've been following that collective thread. Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, that sounded like it came from her, and you're welcome. uh, and the embodiment. I mean, I think we often feel like these light beings or angelic energies or, you know, channeled guides or all of these things are outside of us. And I'm really feeling the Corpus Christi, the sacred human oneness that we are. And so it's not like any of us are alone ever, even though sometimes lately I've been really craving aloneness or solitude. But what, how do you think we can open ourselves to believe and trust in this essence within us. I think there's a trust factor or a deserving factor that we're like, oh, well, she's better than me or more than me or beyond me. How do we um, make way, like you said earlier, calling it that, creating the space to welcome this light being within or recognize her within?
Susanne?
Um, well, first of all, accepting our divinity and embracing it. I mean, we came here to explore and be in our humanness, and but that doesn't diminish anything about who we truly are. In fact, we're given this opportunity to see all of it
Mm.
and make choices through our human. There's divine will, and we usually surrender to divine will. I say usually, and when we are stubborn and don't listen to divine will is usually when we suffer. So we can release the old ways of doing things, and that's that dogmatic, has to look a certain way. If this isn't the way it's done, it's not going to work. And really follow our own inner light, our own divinity in action.
Mm.
So I think we've been on the call before on the Divinely Inspired podcast, and that's really what it's coming down to, is being divinely inspired by our own pure essence and following that signal, not listening to everybody else's signal. And as we do that, I feel like this particular light being is helping us gently transmute that past of what the way things used to be. And I see it as an honoring of what has gone before. And that's maybe where some of my sacral reverence comes in. And saying, okay, that's cool. That's good. And what more possibilities are there? And when I feel into that, there's not like, nobody is higher or lower on this scale. We all came equipped with things that each one of us is working on. And so that's that is
That's the equality. Mm-hmm.
that's the equality. We're all on a level playing field, even though we are tapping into the energy of the essence of higher states of consciousness. We all are evolving into our pure essences, but grounding it here. And how can we embody this on a day-by-day basis? How can we show up in our real humanness with compassion, empathy, and grace?
Mm.
And so it's challenging us, each and every one of us, to go inward and finding those sticky places and giving ourselves the grace to allow it to be, which also takes that oppression and lifts it and transmutes the energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this cosmic guardian is showing us, is that it's going to take some artfulness, but we're not stepping into it through pride. We're stepping it through creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And when we step into that, that's when we find our other people that we're here to have create with and have synergy with.
Yeah. That magnetism thing that I've been playing with. Yes. Um, which I do believe, and you've been talking a lot with your groups lately about the radiance key itself, about really diving into that. And how when we play in that playground, how it like, I mean, it automatically opens that, or not that it was ever turned off, but it turns up the light that we have and allows us to be seen for who we really are. And those days of hiding, long gone.
No, as you said that, I just feel this flush of energy. You could see my cheeks flush up because I just feel like that's what we're being asked to be, is anchoring our own light, our own divinity in action. And despite how heavy things are, it comes full circle.
It does. And the community supports us. The more I've been playing with my particular star pearl assignment of magical connectivity, it's all about, okay, how do we all hum together? And yes, you can hum and make sound together, but I mean, like really get cooking and moving at a synergistic, creativity where we're creating new thing, innovating in new ways together. Um, so I want to give you an opportunity, Trish, to speak to that a little bit, because I feel like that's what a lot of your programs do as well, is first of all do the work of the internal rooting and healing, but how does that support the radiance of yourself and those in your communities?
Great question. And as you were speaking, I'm just going to share what was coming to me as you were speaking. One of the ways to cultivate radiance is using our allies. So in a lot of the work that I do, and I know that you all do as well, we have our crystals, we have our stones, we have our plants, and they're really here to, and we have all these other modalities, right, to amplify, right, our energy. And so it's like when you've done that inner work, you can take support from these other, allies. I mean, there was one that's coming up right now that I was called to work with a client recently, and that I was like, oh, okay. And it's like, like flower essences, and not the Bach remedy, but these ones are like, it's a different frequency. And it was red, purple, poppy. And it's about calling you to get comfortable being in the limelight, like get comfortable being yourself out, being seen. And it's like, oh, can I be a red, purple poppy? I don't know, but
Yes,
so
please.
there's medicine in that. And then also another thing that has been coming up is that, using modalities that really link all of your light within your body together, right?
Okay, I
So,
want to hear more about this.
well, it was one of I mean, you all do it and you're doing any sort of energy healing, but like acupuncture is very specific. Like I was on the table yesterday. I love my acupuncturist. Oh my God. She, she's a magician. But I mean, I was literally for the first time, and I've been seeing her for many years, I was smiling the entire time because something has just linked in my body recently, and I was humming. So you said humming. And I mean, my body, I could feel myself. I was just humming. I was just like, yeah, I'm humming, and it's some new frequency that my body is in, and it's because of the allies. It's and them supporting me. And then this other technology that I've been using that reflects my light back to me. It reflects my infrared light back to me. So it's like I'm not emptying out my cup anymore. I'm continuously being replenished. And so when I do go out, and I've seen other people doing it, when I do go out in front, I'm not wounded. Do you know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like I'm okay just being me.
You don't have to protect.
Yeah,
So
because
that
I'm
shuts
like
things off. Yeah.
I'm feeding off my own light, right? And like, yeah, it's just me. I don't have to take on other people's stuff. I don't, just be me. And so those were some of the things that came up as practical tools. Another thing, I want to just check in with the cosmic guardian, and I think you've touched on this a bit, Deborah, in the magical connections, but it's also the starlight, right? She's the cosmic guardian. So there's definitely something about stars, and maybe it's astrology, but maybe it's just being underneath the stars and seeing the connectivity and the synergy involved in the whole universe. That's a little more esoteric, but hey.
No, I love that. And it's very practical. I love to go outside in the mornings for sunrise and in the evenings for sunset. But then before I go to bed, I kind of go out and say, good night, moon and planets. I do. I mean, I know that's crazy, and I do. I literally say it out loud. And I'm sure my neighbors go, good night, moon. What is she doing? Reading that book to her.
That book, that's what I thought. I love it. A children's book, that's perfect because, right? The child's
Well, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, thanking our stones. I know you have one there, Susanne. Show it.
Yeah, well, I've got 5 of them, but they're all selenite, like clearing right now.
Clarifying.
Clarifying, clean slate. And I also have my crystal bowls here. So those are wonderful.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Those are wonderful allies for me, and I with toning to them. Yeah.
and she played them for me this morning when we had our chat, and I was like, my whole body was tingling. She goes, does that like translate really good over the computer? And I said, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
So
have all these beautiful allies to help connect the light within your channel so that you radiate even.
yeah, and I've been really talking to my plants lately. And there's bumblebees right now. So early. Sorry, honey. There's nothing blooming out there. But I've seen 2 or 3 bees, and I'm just like, you scouts are probably going to die of starvation. So, but I feel that there's something really, I can feel the connectedness now more so than ever to the natural world. And so I'm glad that you mentioned that. And talking to the light fractal prisms all over my walls, I've talked to them all day long too. So anyway, who knows? But it feels like there's one. It feels like there's uh a deeper support system that has all like the grid has woven around us to support us completely. There's nothing we can do wrong right now. And I feel like our love and our light needs to be in action because there's a lot of people that are in a lot of darkness, a lot of pain, and a lot of fear. How do we hold? And this is where community is really important too, because when I get into my, Susanne can be my, you know, reminder that that is not everything that's going on. There's a lot more going on that you don't see. So, yeah. So thank you, Cosmic Guardian. You have been so much fun to play with these last 5 weeks and to continue integrating. Any closing thoughts or words to, ground her essence within us, to welcome her more deeply?
There is one thought. Now, when all these pillars first landed, they came at a certain time of year. And so she's really associated with, June, right? Mid-June, coming up on solstice. And so if you can imagine the starry night sky, at least in the northern hemisphere, but if you're in the southern, you're probably going to be having these clear, cold
nights. Yeah.
right? It's just as beautiful. But yeah, she's got that energy of the early,
I
summer.
think we should do birthday parties for each of these entities. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, we'll let you all know for those listening if you want to play with us. I mean, we honor the moon cycles, right? We do that already. So why not play with uh, these entities as well? Susanne?
Just it's coming clear to me. Just remember to stay in your heart space. And that's the anchoring, right? It's the anchoring of grace on the planet and remembering that part, that your humanity, your divinity in action.
Yeah. And feeling really safe to be, and this is a lot, it's hard now, but to feel safe being in your body because of that heart field, right?
It
Yeah.
is. And that safety thing and trusting thing is something that I talk about with myself and my body every day. I'm safe. I'm safe to show my heart. I'm safe to love. I'm safe to be loved. I'm safe to speak my truth. I'm safe to talk to light prisms, reflections. So
Yeah.
I honor you, women. Any closing before we close? Because this is full, and I feel full.
Cup is full.
Ah,
Will you entertain an Om with me?
absolutely.
All right.
Älä iriutu.
Ia to Sara kostiasa.
Orellarivita.
Ikiara. Mm.
Hmm.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Till our next time together.